Oh, yeah, that was quite a day. He was on the.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please.
I would move the chair, sure.
Beaky. Here. Shell.
Here.
Thomas. Here. Marner.
Here.
Hewitt.
Here.
Wenzel.
Here.
Hoover.
Here. All right, before we approve the agenda, I've just got one item to add under items for action. We need to talk about if we're going to have the July 2nd. So that will be letter E under items for action. With that, I need a motion to approve the agenda.
So moved.
Motion's been made and supported to approve the agenda. All those in favor signal by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Next up, we have public statement regarding current agenda items only.
Will be able to speak during public hearing?
Yes. Okay. Next up, we have consent agenda.
So.
Support.
Which has been made and supported. All those in favor signal by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. No unfinished business. Moving on into new business. Items for introduction, discussion, public hearing to adopt ordinance amendment 2024-01. We need a motion to enter public hearing. And let's do each of the, we'll do them both together since they're essentially the same.
Make a motion to enter public hearing to adopt ordinance amendments 2024-01 and 02.
Support. Motion's been made and supported. All those in favor signal by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, we are in public hearing. Does any council member have anything that they wish to discuss before we open it to the floor?
I have a quick question.
Shoot.
What is, by eliminating these two paragraphs out of these ordinances, how does this benefit the community right now? With nothing coming in.
It doesn't. It just removes a temporary block that we had put in place a while ago, and we're going to replace it with the appropriate numbers and language in our ordinance.
I understand, but we were told 2 meetings ago that there'd be no lapse. Last meeting said there's gonna be a lapse between it. So I don't understand what the rush is by eliminating these paragraphs if there's nothing coming in, or we don't know how long the wait is gonna be before this SUPs come in. We all agree on that. I'm just saying that I don't think it ain't benefiting, the community at all by eliminating these two paragraphs at this time.
Not really benefiting them to keep it either.
The vetting process is still the same. So if a new company came and petitioned Chesaning, we just have to review it. Doesn't mean we have to approve it.
Right.
So eliminating doesn't cause or change any action. All new business still comes to council.
I understand that.
What are you looking for, Ron? Are you wishing?
I'm just saying that,
Can I ask my question?
Yeah, right.
What are you looking for? Would you like the other ordinances to be ready and be ready to be put into place before we get rid of this one?
That's what I would like to see.
Okay.
I don't want to see a big time lapse. I don't know how long it's gonna be before the new ones are gonna be implemented. It could be 6-7 months.
We're supposed to have it this month, like this week.
I've heard that too.
Well,
I've heard that. So I'm just saying, I just think there's if we're gonna be big lapse between the two, I think we should be still, or that we move it, move these to a later date, like the first of the year, or if the other ordinance comes in before that.
Why the first of the year?
Because I don't know how long it's gonna be.
Well, we could just wait until the other ones are ready. I mean, that could be.
I'm just putting it out there.
Sure, but we don't have to put a date on it. We can just hold it until the other ones are ready.
That should be great.
Are you guys good? Anybody in the public have anything they'd like to say?
My comment was similar to Roz. I was going to say I would like to see a time cap on this to not take place until
the other revisions that you intend to happen, so that they happen together instead of having a big window of opening here with no caps.
Mike and Barb, you're with that, South Line. My comment was similar, except to say that if there's no benefit to leaving them in, is there a detriment to leaving them in? So if there's no detriment to leaving it in, then why not wait until we have a full ordinance before we?
These only just need to be removed before the new ones go into place, correct? There's no timeline for how long these need to be removed before we put the new ones in place?
And really, they don't have to be removed before we put the new one in place. We could put the new one in place, these would just override that until we remove them, if that makes sense.
Sure.
Anybody else?
One additional comment. By actually, revoking these ordinances, you're taking away what the public had asked for previously. By putting them in place, it stopped new licenses. So this is opening that window back up.
Actually, it was put in place to stop any new people from coming to town,
Right.
not new licenses. Current businesses could still do business. No new businesses come to town.
Right.
And that's why
But right now, it's opening it to everything.
we still say no, we want to say no, just like we would do under that one. But I get you want it in as a safety net. I'm fine with it.
Tom, how many calls have we gotten in the last few months? People interested in coming to town to grow and process salad. Correct.
We got no applications, and calls I don't know, because they might call the office, and the office doesn't have to apply, but.
But no applications.
I would say in the last 6-8 months now, that I know of.
We got different circumstances going on now than we did it 6-7 months ago too, though.
Yep.
So I mean, you're calling for different circumstances. You might be getting some calls here with the circumstances going on this current time too. You might be getting some calls.
Any other member of the public? What does the council think? Do we want to pass this, put it off?
I'll make a motion that we close on amending 2024-01 and 02 until the other ordinances can be brought up to date.
First, we'll need to exit public hearing.
Motion is the public hearing.
Motion's been made and supported to exit public hearing. All those in favor signal by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Next up, items for action. Okay, now is your time.
I will make a motion to suspend amending ordinance 2024-01 and 02 until other ordinance work can be brought to date.
Motion's been made and seconded. We'll do a roll call vote, please.
Vicky? Yes.
Cheryl?
No.
Toma?
Yes.
Lerner?
Yes.
Hewitt?
Yes.
Wenzel?
Yes.
Hoover? No. And that passed. Alright, well, these have been postponed until we get the next ordinance in order, which hopefully will be the last meeting in June, and if that's the case, or July, I'm sorry, the last meeting in July. And we would then have to set another public hearing at that date. Alright, well, that takes care of items for action A and B. So up next is C, review airport tree removal bids.
There's some trees that need to be removed, from the airport, we've not budgeted for, or really expected. You'll see some, bids that came in.
Do we get to keep the firewood?
Like that,
We could sell sell that in the
They all
park for
said
money.
they were just gonna stack it in the corner, they were gonna chip the brush and back it in the corner. Thurston's, I think, is the only one gonna take it.
We do have a local, bid ordinance that Thurston's falls under, but the price difference is just a little beyond it. The percentage that, you know,
The $3,000 from Flint seems more appealing.
but most of our tree service is done by, I say most of it, all of it.
By Thurston? Well, they also clean up all of their mess. This one, they're leaving the stumps, dumping the chips in the wood. No
Thurston,
one mind keeping the wood, but they gotta grind those stumps off or they'll just grow back into clumps.
Most tree services don't grind their stumps.
Thurston's wasn't grinding stumps either.
I don't know of any local tree service that grinds stumps along with their tree service. That's usually a secondary.
Oh, yeah, it does.
It's the same, unless I misread it, none of them were gonna grind stumps.
Well, that's a bummer. But we'll be right back at it again.
I mean,
You just have to hire a stump grinder.
that's part of the reason the $3,000 made sense, is because essentially it matched everybody's offer. Other than Thurston's would take it for the extra money. Let the airport sell it for cord.
Well, we could also use it in the park.
It does it all the time.
My computer doesn't really like you.
It's not a MacBook. I don't need to read the.
Just for the record, we're not hurting for wood to sell in the park.
Are you sure?
Certain.
Plenty of wood down there.
It would just be nice if we could sell it per cord to recoup some of the money, or if the airport can help us, or use the money for further, fixes at the airport too.
You gonna manage it?
That's what we pay rent for. And that's why Tom got promoted.
That's gonna look good in your resume.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with Tom, I'd like to use Thurston's, but the price discrepancy just doesn't make sense.
No, don't.
I can't read them anymore, but we're meeting the disposal of the wood with Thurston's, correct? Everybody else is just chipping it and eating it.
Correct.
Yeah, correct.
What's going to happen to the chips? Do we have to then dispose of them?
They're
Are
just
they
gonna lay
be
there
used?
and rot.
Yeah, everyone said they're just gonna let them lay in the woods.
They're gonna be in the woods though, they're not gonna be.
They should be, I mean, based on what I thought I read was, yeah, they're gonna chip it essentially back in the woods.
Yeah, this one says chip into the grass, put the trees up. No disposable material, no.
We asked Thurston if they'll change their bid if they're not approved. Just so that we're comparing apples to apples.
Yep.
Sooner the better, yeah.
I think.
I would just make a decision.
What's that?
I would just decide on when they want to wait.
Put the lowest bid in out.
3,000 for that, June.
And the rest are fucking arborists.
It's weird, because it says red built.
The rest of the popular arborists.
The booking arborists were a bid of $3,000 to the trees at the airport.
Support. Motion's been made and supported to accept the estimate from the Bucking Arborist LLC. All those in favor, signify by saying aye. Opposed? Carried. Alright, next we have, I need to set up a contract negotiation committee. I would like to appoint myself, Danielle, to this committee. In addition, Tom will be attending the meetings and bring contractor with Troy to help an hourly rate. We got, the union contracts are coming up, setting up a committee of Keith, Danielle, and myself. Additionally, Tom will be attending, and Troy will be helping out with the so, probably 40 hours or something. I'd have to look at it. It's not. I don't think we really need any action on that. But basically, something like that. Next up, July 2nd meeting. Will we have a forum? I will not be here. I'm questionable. Okay, well, that's enough of us. Somebody want to make a motion to skip the July 2nd? We're almost every year.
I'll make a motion to cancel July 2nd, 2024.
Motion's been made and supported to cancel the July 2nd meeting. All those in favor, say aye. Opposed? July 2nd meeting is canceled. Next up, infrastructure.
We don't have no meeting.
We'll go soon.
Yeah.
Finance Chairman?
Oh, yeah, we did meet. Sorry. Basically using the numbers that I talked about 2 weeks ago. Except adding caregivers to 0. So marijuana special use permits will be up to 8, retail permits up to 2, secure transporter up to 2, micro businesses up to 0, caregivers up to 0. Which makes sense because the state's trying to get rid of those people or reduce them down to only having 1 customer per person, which will be interesting because I saw their numbers were over 30,000 still in business, over 200,000. Paragraph at the end, the village council may review and amend the above maximums by resolution annually or as it determines to be advisable. Such revision shall not be the basis for termination or non-renewal of a permit previously issued. That will be there as well. Tommy is sending this off to the appropriate attorney, get it written up so they can put in the ordinance. And that's what we'll be replacing the 2 that are on hold. So this is written up correctly, legally.
You said caregivers will be at 0.
Caregivers 0 because we already should be nobody operating in the village anyhow.
Shouldn't be, but doesn't that technically outlaw caregivers, period?
Because we don't want caregivers in the bill. Just like we don't have micro business. It's not outlawing it, it's set of care. You can say it's outlawing.
Oh, no. No, that's so, it's, my only concern or thought is it's someone's private property. I mean, that's their home. And
Right,
it's a-
but-
And it's a medical,
We don't, like we've discussed before, we don't know. There shouldn't be anybody operating in the village.
agreed.
So if there's not, does no harm to say 0. So somebody can come and buy a house and decide to set up a caregiver. Because they would have to be in a specific place anyway. Isn't that right, Tom?
It has to be in residential and have a special use permit,
Correct. So,
which none of them have.
so we already believe there's none. Why not make it 0? We can say 1, but nobody's going to come forward and say they have it.
No, but that's the other side of that coin. Caregivers more than likely, it doesn't matter how you ask them, they're more than likely not going to.
It's just in our ordinance that it's 0, it's just 0. Nobody's coming to ask to put a micro business in either, but we're putting it 0. We did discuss consumption lounge, but we figured because it's not, we never had an ordinance, won't bother with it until we actually have to face something. If we ever have to face something. So I would look at it the same way as caregivers. Never known anybody, granted the law's been in effect since 2008. But as far as I don't walk around everybody's house. Hey, good deal.
No, agreed.
Yeah, you probably know, but like I said, the state's currently working, hopefully before November, they're trying to reduce it to caregivers only have 1 person that they're working
Oh, yeah, and they
for,
were,
instead of 5.
they were gonna reduce the plans per person, I mean, there was a lot of things.
Right, and that's the current one, there's a bill in place right now to reduce it to one, and it's the big companies in the state that are trying to kick them to the curb, so.
There's also on the gray market stuff.
And that's what they're all worried about, everybody's doing something on the black market, blah, 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 because they're not. Caregivers aren't monitored like the big business, not the big companies. Nobody comes to their house and make sure they're making good pie.
Well, no,
For a lack of better terms, good pie.
well, no,
They still have to have.
Right, but they don't have the same rules as the other companies as far as medicinal.
if they can sell their own registered dispensaries, but I didn't know they were submitted their product to inspection.
So, and their license is $500 to the state. So, 0 seemed like a good number since we don't have anybody that we know of.
You need that one more time, let's see.
That would be easier. So, and those were the only things that, like I had looked at other municipalities, they had things separated by Class A, Class B, Class C, because they had those, and people were using those different things. Transportation and all the other things. We put transportation at 2 because at one point we had it set at 2, and there were companies here, they went away, but I don't view a transportation license as a big deal. So it should be easier to say we will allow 2 if somebody wanted to go back in business for that. Drive it around, and we don't have to go back and change it. We just say 2. And like nobody's knocking down the door to have a transportation license, but
What about the labs? Same kind of situation.
it doesn't fall under special use permit, and we have up to 8, and they're already covered in there. So, but yes, if somebody came, because that's the paragraph at the end that allows us to go back annually or when we deem it necessary. So if somebody was, trying to put up a lab somewhere else,
I don't see that happening.
and I don't see it happening either. I think we're pretty much tapped out for anything in the village. So,
You can review it at any time,
yes.
just not once a year.
You will do it, it says, once a year, annually,
Okay.
or is it determined to be advisable? So if someone showed up with something, if we really thought we had to look at it, we'd look at it. If we didn't want to, I would just say have Tommy cut them off and pass.
We could add or add a council member's request,
So,
those 3 caveats.
yeah,
That language at the end.
and I don't write it down, you sign it right down here.
I mean, we always have the right to re-examine any of our ordinances.
Right.
I mean,
So-
we have to say.
And you are gonna put the caregivers 0 on this too? They didn't on.
It's on this one.
Okay.
I gave you the other ones. This is the one I put my notes. But showing my vote 0. Okay, she's right here, so. Yes, we discussed it, so we're putting it at 0, because there shouldn't be any, doesn't mean there's not any,
But there are, then it's legal.
they're illegal,
Totally different.
but you can't walk around knocking on their door and asking, what are you doing? So. They're nice if you could, but
No,
we have a different country here.
yeah, right. I don't wanna live in a police state. Be like they do Russian people.
So, that was it.
Alright.
So everybody's good with the only thing, is 0? Everything with the license we already have, other than transportation, we put it 2.
You had no time to read it.
And so he has those, right, Tom?
Oh, the second one you gave me or the first one?
Either, he wanted you to see this.
It doesn't matter, I just wrote 0 on the one I was putting my notes on.
Tom, do you need the little extra wording?
I got it written down.
Public Safety Committee, no meeting. DDA.
There was a meeting and they voted to replace the corner mats, the ADA or the textured, the red mats, on the corners that are pretty broken up, they're gonna replace those. So,
The concrete, right? Is it a mat?
it's like a mat, I don't know the material, but it goes on top of the concrete,
Oh, okay.
for the corners, but it's, so visually impaired people can tell when they're at the corner. So, they're gonna replace those and the DDA district.
Downtown's looking pretty nice. Very nice. Chamber of Commerce.
Most of the conversation, I could only say for an hour, it was about the sign. There's a sign that is struggling. We're getting the cost to replace that. They thought they had a cost, but then came up with another idea, so they're trying to figure out what that will be.
Familiar with that struggle.
Yeah.
Apparently
Next
it's tough to
to the post
find
office.
somebody to.
It's next to the post office. Wildly expensive.
Yeah.
They're trying to save the light board.
Well, the post rotted off in the ground.
Yeah.
Almost fell down.
So yeah, that's why I said they're trying to save the LED boards, so dog goes, they don't want that to be lost too.
Is there any word on the clock up? Think you're working on?
The DDA also, is buying the parts to fix that, but then I gotta figure out who can install them. I've called if anybody knows a clock maker or a clock worker, let me know.
It's hard enough finding the parts.
Right, the parts we found, the person to fix it, Rod can't do it, the DPW, told me he would try, so.
I could also try. Very mechanically.
We'll keep you away from it, we'll see.
That's probably
work.
There might be a.
I already did. I did YouTube it, and I couldn't figure it out, so.
Take the whole thing apart, put it back together, it works. Maybe we should find it.
So, we're trying on the clock, so.
That it? Planning? Okay. Airport?
Either Sean or I went last night,
Next week, right?
but it's just their, to be honest, attending all those, it's just the pre-flying meeting where they're getting all their stuff. Pretty much that's all they're gonna talk about.
Fire board?
We had 10 runs since the last meeting, bringing a total of 99. And some of those runs has been pretty bad, as you guys know. The golf outing had good weather, it went good. We had good door prizes. I'd like to thank all the sponsors of the holes and donation of the gifts and everything else. We made close to over $8,500. The next training is going to be the second weekend of July because of the 4th of July weekend there and that. And that's going to be on hose and everything else. And the next fire board meeting is going to be July 10th at 6 o'clock.
Hey, Phil. Task force?
Oh, no meeting, I'm sorry.
Parks committee. Next up, we have public statement, any topic, limited to 3 minutes. Jack Barnett.
Jack Barrett.
Correct.
Barrett. What's that, Barnett? You still have something to say? Pass, okay. Mike Navarre?
Pass.
Paul Young? You already, oh yeah, go nuts.
Go nuts for 3 minutes.
Well, thank you. My name is Paul Young. I'm from Grand Blanc Township in Genesee County. I'm here for an introduction and share a little bit of news. You might ask, why are you here from Grand Blanc Township, Genesee County? Actually, probably none of you would ask that, since I think I introduced myself to just about everybody. I am running for Congress here in Michigan's 8th District. I think most of you know, the 8th District is all of Genesee County, all of Saginaw County, all of Bay County, and just about all of Midland County. Our current member of Congress is Dan Kildee. Dan announced about 6 months ago that he was retiring and he would not seek re-election. I am the Republican that ran against Dan last time. I threw my hat back in the ring, and I fully expect I will be the Republican nominee, although if there are anyone in this room that will be voting in the Republican primary on August 6th, I would ask for your vote. There are 3 Democrats in the race, and so we'll see who among the Democrats becomes a Democratic nominee, and I suspect we'll have a spirited race in the fall, and we'll see how that goes. I am a native to Michigan. I was born in Ann Arbor, as were both of my brothers. My mother was a school teacher. My dad worked in the auto industry. My dad eventually started building a business maintaining military family housing. So we would bid on contracts, Army, Navy, Air Force bases all around the country. I worked in that family business, and we took care of the homes that our service personnel and their families lived in while we were in those contracts. My other professional experiences that might be particularly applicable to this opportunity that I seek is I did work on Capitol Hill. I was an investigative counsel for Chuck Grassley of Iowa, which suggests that I have a law degree, which I do. I was also at one time in my life a county prosecutor, worked a number of different types of criminal prosecutions, including in domestic violence cases. I guess the other particular, thing that I did in Washington DC is I did work with the Department of Homeland Security in the Trump administration working on border and immigration issues. So again, should I be successful, I think I'll have a mix of business and prosecutor and government experience that would be useful in the position. So I guess I'll just close by saying that I try to get to a number of these village meetings, city councils, township board of trustee meetings, because I recognize that elected officials and people that are pretty regular attendees are very plugged into their community. They know the needs of the community, and I hope that should I be elected, I'll get to know many of you better than I already do, and that way I can be an effective voice for you and for our communities in Washington DC. So thank you for the opportunity to introduce myself tonight. Thank you.
Thank you. Terry and Frank Oakland.
I was just curious, Keith read those numbers pretty fast, can we also get a copy of those numbers?
I'll read them slow, because I'm not giving up my copy. Special use permits, 8,
Okay.
up to 8, because we already have 8. Retailer permits, up to 2, we've only ever allowed 2 and we had 2, so no more. Secure transporter permits, up to 2. Used to have 2, nobody does it now, but you never know. It's not that big a deal. Micro businesses, 0. It's gonna stay that way until they get their act together in Lansing. And caregivers, 0.
Okay, and then you said something about consumption lounge when you were discussing?
No, it's never been on our list, so we didn't bother listing it.
Okay,
So we didn't create it and write anything.
and then.
I don't think anybody's,
Where do growers and processors fall?
that's under special use permits.
That's under.
They're all together.
Okay,
So that's why there's 8. So like the entire Eden Way is a special use permit, so.
and how do we know how many licenses are out there though, under those special use permits?
Huh?
I'd have to, I think there's 65 currently, I'd have to just look at the number, but there's no limit to the amount of licenses they can have under a special use permit.
They'd be limited by their.
They're limited by their space, so.
Space, right.
Not by the license they currently have? I thought they had a maximum license, and that's like if they had a license for 10,000 plants, I thought that was their max.
So they have, for each license, depending on the license, so it could be a little different, say, they can grow 1,500 plants, but it's based on space. So, not expanding, I mean, how many ever they could fit into that footprint. I guess if they wanted 100 licenses, they could have them, but it doesn't mean they could grow, that many plants in that area.
I could have swore I read something that a business can only have up to 5 licenses. I may be wrong, but I could have swore I read that.
You'd have to show me that. I have not seen that.
I could have swore I've seen that somewhere.
There's 5 different types of licenses.
Yeah, I think there's 5 different types of licenses.
I might have read it wrong.
So, but like he's saying, for, like, if somebody had space for 2,000 plants, they would have to have 2 licenses, which allows them 3,000, but they can only grow 2,000 because they only have the space for 2,000. So, yes, they could have more, but they can't grow more because they don't have the space.
Okay, so I understand what you're saying about special uses, because that's the property is a special use. But I thought at the same time we limited our licenses, that we were not expanding licenses either, other than to the ones that existed. If they had a 10,000 license, we're only using 5,000, they could expand up to their 10. I'm sure I have that.
Yeah, they could expand up to 10, but they don't have the space.
Right.
If there's an ordinance that's limiting how many plants or licenses they can have, I've not seen it. If you show me, I'll
Remember ever doing that.
If you have it, show me,
Well, I'll have
or I'll
to
look
back
at that.
because I thought we had that in place.
And I'm limited by the amount of space you can grow on it, so.
Okay. Thank you.
Next up, council member statements. Any council member have a statement they wish to make?
There was somebody said that there was sprinkler systems on the boulevard. I don't know where it was or not, but the water was just going on the boulevard. I don't know which one it was.
So if you take Line Street and turn left, it's that road right there.
Right in front of,
Yeah, between Line and Clark.
Line and Clark and North Center Road, it was just flooded the other.
North, and there's two on the north side that just shoot into the road and one on the south side.
Besides, they've got it, figure it out.
Every year.
Acting weird.
every single year.
Every single year.
And then I'll
There's
just
brown
question,
spots all over the place.
Hey, get that dust off my car, man.
Free car wash.
At least on one
Might
side.
stop right in the middle of Boulevard.
It's not just
Drive
one
through
clean
slow.
strip of time.
I made U-turns for about 20 minutes.
You said somebody had worked at police officer.
Esau's, yeah, I've seen them out there
Every year.
every year.
It looked better, 2 mornings ago.
You can see that every year there's like, spraying the grass, shooting the road, spraying the grass, shooting the road. Every year at the beginning when they start.
Sure winter doesn't help with that.
It probably does.
Winterizing process. I just wanna remind everybody, be safe over the 4th of July holiday. Don't do anything too stupid.
Fireworks next Thursday.
Yeah, fireworks next Thursday, be a good time. Try not to set yourself on fire.
Can we try to get the Heritage House mowed?
Saturday works.
Looks pretty gnarly.
Yeah, we talked to me about that.
And I know she's not here to give a report tonight, and then we're not meeting July 2nd. So the next time she reports, I'd be interested in hearing her report on the last car show.
Would also be interested.
Yeah, we have specifically given her a directive to issue citations for the burnouts because of the damage done to the state roads. Playing cards on my front porch, I just want to be clear, I wasn't out there keeping track, we were playing cards, I already had a notebook out because I was missing. But easily, in an hour's time, upwards of 50 some. And this has been a topic for at least a year, if not longer, but as I recall, the last time she was specifically given a directive by Mr. Weaver to issue for that. I would think after the first few that were
I didn't see.
spreads like fire, but it was all night and
Nobody did it on
way.
Chapman this past Saturday, but they were doing it in McGee's parking lot.
Well, the
And
game
they
gives
didn't-
them
that's probably a
permission.
problem. That's a problem.
If they set up, what, no, I understand that, and we talked about setting up a spot for them to do that,
Sure.
which is
You're right,
what
that's
I've
not-
seen at other shows.
That's not the only place that would do it.
But that's
Right.
not. what it
But
was.
there were quite a few that were done in the parking lot.
So, and I guess
Sure,
just,
McGee's isn't.
I'll be the bad guy, just to be clear, you can let her know that I'm the one specifically asking. And my reaction will be based on what she reports out. What's that? She could be pissed at me. Not here to make anybody scream. Anyhow, I'd like to hear from her on that, maybe she can email us prior to that, because the next meeting otherwise is until the 16th, correct?
Right.
Of July? And I don't know where all those dates fall within with the next car show.
I think it's the 3rd Saturday, so I think it's the
So
20th.
20th will be the next one.
Yeah.
Do you know how many are on duty for the car show? How many officers?
One village cop.
Not part visiting somewhere, which is what I often see, actually on duty.
We only have one
In my
police
mind, there's a big
officer on
difference.
duty for the car show?
It's not a car show, it's a car cruise.
Car cruise, no, sorry.
I don't think we should pay to patrol that. I mean, the village doesn't put it on. I don't see the point of bringing in overtime for it.
Not if they're not doing it now, more
Right.
overtime, just gonna be more work for more money for no
Well,
work.
if we're not taking care of the things that we're needing to take care of at this point, I don't see the point in adding additional officers to not take care of the things that they're supposed to take care of.
Unless she has another take on
I,
I'll hear from Chief on that.
the first rung in the ladder, of course, is presence, and that keeps most people kind of the same.
Who puts the car show on, or car cruise on?
That's sanctioned.
It's not sanctioned.
No, it's
It's
just
word of mouth.
Open invitation.
Yeah, you show up, cruise around, and that's it.
It's like a WhatsApp.
But better.
Remember that on Friday nights in your kid? Teenager? They did.
Earl Gables.
She sold ticket.
And, it would be nice to hear from you whether that needs to be in an email or some other communication, and definitely before the next meeting.
Good. Thank you. Anybody else?
Yeah, illegal burns, again. We had one out in the township, somebody tore down his shed and torched it. We had to go out and put it out. He got, and,
Find them.
Scott warned him, he gets that warning, that first one. And you know, that, between that and the accidents we've been having around, and it's just been really busy the last couple months.
Are you fully staffed?
No.
Of course not.
Back today, we had 4 make to the fire call today. And it was a good thing it was just an alarm, but a lot of them, the one in, out on 57 past, Marion Springs, they had 3 fire departments out there because they couldn't get the, people out there. And on Gratiot the other day, they had a 3-car pileup, and they had 4 or 5 fire departments over there. 'Cause they had a lot-
Everybody's understaffed.
Yeah. So, if you know anybody who wants to join the fire departments, tell them to come on down, we'll give them an application.
For all those many of dollars,
Yeah.
it's not why you join.
One just quick question. The property they granted to sell, are you getting a realtor to do this?
I'm waiting to hear, we had an interested party within the village staff, and I'm waiting to hear if they're interested, and then we'll go from there. Actually, had a couple calls on it already. Nothing really serious, but, you know. Mostly, how much is it worth so I can sell my land too? So, catching a lot.
Does it need to be a bid situation then, so that we can maximize any?
It doesn't have to, it's probably better to do traditional. If we get multiple bids, that'd be great, and then we'll, review them as a.
Has it been listed or posted so
It has
that
not
other
yet.
people have the opportunity?
Not yet. Soon. Like next month. Good. All right, moving on, village staff report, administrator.
There's an art fair in Trumbull Park on June 22nd and 23rd, so that's this Saturday and Sunday. Saturday and Sunday, yes. So go check that out. And I just wanted to say a big thank you to Lippert, having its employees come down to the amphitheater again and clean out, limbs and trees, and they pulled everything out and chopped everything up. It was put together by Travis Early and Scott Vincent, our 2 Lippert employees, so just wanted to say thank you to them for all that work. And that's it.
Thanks, Tom. Next up, we have work session marijuana ordinances. Does anybody have anything for this one?
Any news on the filtration? Or
He said hopefully you'd have it this week.
Well, it'd be nice if we could do all of those together. It'd be awesome. Motion to adjourn.
Support.
Motion's been made, supported to adjourn. All those in favor signal by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed?